My name is Judy, and I'm 33 years old. I don't have a big family, so experiencing such a large event was definitely one of the perks of marrying my husband, Kyle. The music was blasting, and the air was filled with laughter and chatter from Kyle's family. This was the first time I had ever been at a function like this. Unlike me, Kyle comes from a very large family. They were celebrating a family reunion in a grand way with at least 100 people in attendance. It was an opportunity for us to meet distant relatives and enjoy good food. But as fate would have it, the day turned into a nightmare for me. Although this outing was meant to be filled with joy and celebration, it turned sour when I encountered my rude and hostile mother-in-law. She made it her life's mission to disrespect and belittle me, especially because she believed I was unable to conceive. But she couldn't have been more wrong. I just couldn't tell her the truth, at least not yet. My journey to motherhood has been far from easy, filled with medical appointments, emotional roller coasters, and dashed hopes. But what made it even more excruciating was having Hannah, a woman who should be a pillar of support, constantly prodding and mocking my struggles. At the function, she approached me and said, "Judy, my dear, you're still not pregnant. You should really get a move on, you're not getting any younger. Oh wait, you're infertile. What a shame. I really wish my son had married someone who could at least conceive a baby." I was taken aback by her words. How could someone be so blatantly rude and malicious? I felt the blood rushing to my face, unable to believe what I had just heard. I had to ask her to repeat herself. "What did you say?" "You didn't hear me. Must be all this loud music. Hold on for 1 second." As if I wasn't already embarrassed enough, Hannah did the unthinkable. Because this was such a large event, she walked over to the DJ and requested to use his mic. "Attention, attention, everyone," she called out. Everyone started to pay attention, and I felt a deep dread about what was coming next. Some of you might know Judy, Kyle's wife. I wasn't going to do this, but I thought this would be a great teachable moment for her and everyone here. We're all family, right? Seeing that this had bad news written all over it, Kyle, who was somewhere off in the distance, started making his way to the DJ booth. He knew his mother all too well and knew she wasn't going to say anything positive about me. Unfortunately, he was too far away to reach her in time. If you turn your attention towards Judy, you'll see she's not pregnant or carrying an infant. This is honestly shocking, considering she's been married to Kyle for 5 years now. Anyhow, it's not her fault. I guess she is infertile after all. "Mom, that's enough," Kyle shouted. Although Kyle screamed, his unamplified voice was no match for the boomy microphone his mother was using. She continued. "Don't worry, Kyle. This is a teachable moment. Judy, I know the truth is hard to hear, but you have to hear it anyway. You are infertile, and as a result, you're wasting everyone's time here. We're all not getting any younger, and I want to see my grandchildren. I think it would be best if you two did something like get a surrogate or a divorce." There I was, my face redder than any of the tomato dishes there, with countless eyes looking my way. "I'm serious, Judy. You should honestly consider doing something about that infertility. It's quite selfish and embarrassing. I want to see my grandchild." Thankfully, she was cut off by Kyle, who had finally reached her. I couldn't move at all. It was like I was frozen. It seemed like 100 pairs of eyes were on me, and I just wanted the earth to open up and swallow me whole. I felt humiliated as everyone stared, although Kyle managed to stop her. The damage was already done. Some people looked at me with disgust, others with sympathy, but most shared in my embarrassment. They felt embarrassed for me, and as someone who despises pity, this was the worst feeling imaginable. I felt helpless. Normally, I'm the type of person who speaks her mind, but how could I with all these people staring at me? The DJ tried to resume the festivities and wash away the embarrassing moment, but the damage was irreversible. Some people resumed their activities, but I knew the gossip had already started, and this incident would be a hot topic in the family group chat for weeks to come. I did what many others would have done in my situation. I fled. Feeling unwelcome and unloved, I saw Kyle and Hannah arguing off to the side. I seized the opportunity to escape, running inside the house to find the nearest bathroom and lock myself in. I cried for what felt like hours until I heard a knock on the door. It was my loving husband, Kyle. What he said when he saw my red eyes and puffy cheeks shocked me. "I swear to God, after today, I'm never speaking to that woman again." "Kyle, you can't say that. She's your mother." "Yeah, and she's also a bully." I can't ever show my face here again. We can go home right now if you want. Just say the word and we're out of here. No, that would mean I've admitted defeat. What did you say to her? Kyle went on to explain how he berated her for her insolence and rudeness. Why would she say something like that? We don't even know half the people who are here. I still can't believe she said that. I know, love. I've let her walk all over you for too long. I'm sorry I let it get to this point. We hugged, and I continued crying in his arms. This is why I love him so much. After being conditioned in my childhood to be strong and hide my tears, Kyle was always there to catch them and console me. I pulled away slightly, looking up at the love of my life. His warm brown eyes met mine, and I was struck once again by how much I loved him. I smiled weakly despite my tears, hoping to distract myself from the humiliation. Do you remember how we met? Kyle chuckled. Of course I do. How could I forget such a beautiful day? I laughed too, remembering that fateful day. We were both studying at the university library and ended up fighting over the last available power outlet. We struck up a deep and meaningful conversation, and before we knew it, hours had passed. We exchanged numbers, and the rest, as they say, is history. I love you so much, Kyle. I love you too, Judy, more than anything in this world. If you need us to go home, just let me know. This party is dead anyway after that stupid stunt my mother pulled. Kyle, do you remember when we found out? He nodded, a pained expression crossing his face. We were trying so hard, and I thought maybe I was the infertile one. But finding out it was you who was infertile was somehow even worse for me. I was ready to handle it if it was me, but you're just so perfect. I never expected it to be you. I never wanted that for you. I'm so sorry. I know, babe, it was a tough time for both of us. But we got through it together, and we'll get through this too. Kyle smiled at me, his love shining in his eyes. I knew then that we were in this together, no matter what life threw at us. You should tell her the truth. What? I couldn't possibly do that. I should have just been honest with the family from the start. I did know she harbored this much resentment over us not having kids yet. What's worse, she automatically assumes it's your fault. If I had been honest from the beginning, none of this would have happened. Kyle, don't beat yourself up. You know your mother is crazy. She probably would have found another way to humiliate me even if you had been honest. It's fine, babe. I don't mind her hating me, but I can't stand the idea of her not liking you because of your infertility. You know how obsessed she is with continuing this bloodline. That's true. I mean, she did invite 100 people to this thing, which is ridiculous now that I think about it. No, I'm not going to tell her. Wait here. Before I could question where he was going, he let go of me and left the bathroom. Still reeling from the embarrassment, I heeded his words and stayed put. 5 minutes passed. Just when I thought Kyle might have done something stupid, like announcing the truth to everyone, he came back in. Thank goodness. I thought you went to do something stupid. I was about to bust out of here and stop you. You still might try to stop me, but I won't let you. What do you mean? What did you do? I couldn't believe my eyes when Kyle handed me a stack of papers. What are these? My infertility results, as well as your high fertility results. I printed them out at the library. My stomach dropped. How could he have done this without telling me? Now he wanted me to show them to Hannah. I couldn't humiliate him like that in front of everyone. I can't do that, Kyle. I told you I wouldn't. I can't just show these to her. But Judy, she humiliated you in front of everyone. She deserves to be put in her place. She'll be embarrassed because of how wrong she was. I know, but I just can't do it. It's not fair to you. I don't care about that. She's the one who should be embarrassed. Being infertile is nothing to be ashamed of, even though it's so heavily frowned upon. There are ways to fix it, and I think I'm ready to face these skeletons head-on. We should look at alternative methods of conceiving. I looked up at him, feeling overwhelmed by his love and selflessness. How could he be so willing to sacrifice himself like this? And what's more, it seemed like he was ready to properly face this ailment and take the necessary steps to address his situation. For such a long time, it was a sore subject. But now, as I looked into his loving eyes, I could see the amount of healing and growth he had been through to reach this moment of clarity and compassion. But Kyle, it's not just about that. It's also about the fact that she's never respected me. She's never even tried to get to know me, and now she's making fun of my infertility like it's some kind of joke. Kyle put his arm around me, pulling me closer. I know, Judy, And that's why we have to do this. We have to stand up to her and show her that we won't be pushed around anymore. I looked up at him, feeling grateful for his strength and support. Okay, let's do it. We went outside to greet the crowd. It seemed like everyone had resumed the festivities, but little did they know that more chaos was about to ensue. I gave Kyle one last look, asking silently if he was sure. He confirmed by leading me to the very same DJ booth where I had been humiliated not so long ago. Kyle grabbed the mic and got everyone's attention. Attention, everyone. We have something important to say. People turned their heads toward the booming voice coming through the microphone. Earlier today, my wife was attacked unfairly and quite rudely for no good reason. Now she wants to give her side of the argument. Kyle handed the mic to me. I gulped, recognizing that everyone's attention was now on me. I scanned the crowd and met the glaring eyes of none other than Hannah, who was making her way to the booth. Hello, everyone. As you may or may not know, I'm Kyle's wife and Hannah is my mother-in-law. I need to repeat the harmful words that were. That's enough. Hannah interrupted, but my confidence and anger only amplified. I was sick of her incessant rudeness. You will not interrupt me while I speak. I gave you a chance to speak, and now it's my turn. Shocked and taken off guard by my feistiness, she shut up. Thank you. As I was saying, I need not repeat what was said about me. But I am a lover of truth, and if someone is spreading misinformation about me and my family, even if it's a very personal and private matter, I need to rectify it. Turning to face Hannah squarely, I said, You think that I'm infertile and that I'm unable to conceive a baby? Well, I'll tell you what the real truth is. It's your son Kyle who is infertile. Here are the documents that prove it. Kyle handed over the documents to Hannah, who was visibly shocked. The crowd murmured and gasped all around. I looked at Kyle to make sure he was okay. And he was, even smiling and chuckling at everyone's surprised expressions. But the funniest expression was my mother-in-law's. Silence filled the area, and everyone's attention was drawn to us. Hannah's face turned pale as if I had just slapped her. What are you talking about? This can't be true. Oh, but it is true, and what's more, I am the one who has a high fertility rate. More gasps and murmurs reverberated through the crowd. This scene looked like it was pulled straight out of a movie. I don't even know what to say. Kyle, why didn't you tell me about this? Maybe because I wasn't ready. The topic of infertility can be a sensitive one, and I know you wouldn't have done this to me if I were in that position. But the fact that you blatantly tried to embarrass my wife in front of everyone doesn't sit right with me. I had to set things straight. Kyle, I'm so sorry. Don't say sorry to me. Apologize to Judy. It was as if Kyle had asked her to recite the King James version of the Bible in Latin. She was so hesitant, but Kyle persisted. He even grabbed the mic from me and began to chant, Apologize. He kept chanting it over and over, and slowly but surely, the crowd followed suit, all demanding for Hannah to apologize to me. But because of her pride, even the pressure from a whole mob of family members couldn't sway her. I'll do no such thing. She doesn't deserve it. Even if I was incorrect about the fertility thing, why didn't she just say it? It's her fault for not clearing up the air earlier, and now she wants to embarrass me. People began to boo her like she was a terrible music artist performing a terrible set. Feeling embarrassed on her own property, she ran inside the house, attempting to escape the judgment being passed. The story doesn't end there, though. We resumed the festivities while Hannah spent the rest of the event holed up in her room. Several aunts and uncles made attempts to lure her out, but to no avail. She was stuck in her pride, and it was leaving a sour taste in people's mouths. Nonetheless, we enjoyed the rest of the reunion. Various family members, both known and extended, approached Kyle and me, commending us on our bravery. Some were glad we finally put that woman in her place, while others didn't know the extent of her maliciousness. By the end of the evening, it truly felt like a big, happy family reunion, which I was so grateful for. The next day, exhausted and drained, we received a call from one of Kyle's aunts. She said the family had a meeting and agreed they wouldn't include Hannah in any future family events until she apologized. They also recommended we remain distant from her until she could grow up and take accountability. I agreed wholeheartedly. I didn't want to be subjected to her cruel remarks again. While I wasn't surprised by the decision, it still stung to hear that our family was now officially divided due to Hannah's incessant hatred toward me. Kyle and I discussed the situation and agreed it was time to move on. We couldn't keep enabling Hannah's toxic behavior by being bystanders in her abuse, and we needed to protect our mental health. We were already going through so much, and since we wanted to start a new chapter in our lives and build a family of our own, it was time to say goodbye to the drama and focus on building a happy, healthy life together. So we said our goodbyes to Hannah without any regrets or second thoughts. We sent her an email detailing our feelings, and Kyle left her a long voice note telling her that he would love for her to be part of the new life we were trying to build, but he wouldn't allow toxicity and negative energy to be part of it. Unsurprisingly, she never responded. To this day, we haven't heard from her. It turns out she prioritizes her pride so much that she's willing to give up her relationship with her potential grandchildren. Good riddance to bad rubbish, as they say. We didn't need that kind of negativity in our lives anyway, and we were better off without her. But deep down, I couldn't help but feel a twinge of sadness, at least for Kyle. Hannah was still Kyle's mother, after all. I had hoped we could be close one day, but it seemed like that would never happen. I don't know how Hannah is doing now, and I honestly don't care. But what I do know is that I'll never forget that day, and I'll never let anyone make me feel inferior again.